Hello and welcome to the LFC Transfer Room podcast. My name is Rigo and I'm joined today by Damon. Welcome, Damon. Great to see you. It's been a minute since we've recorded. How are you doing, mate?
As I'm doing all right, apart from what's happening on the pitch. Other than that, all good. Absolutely all good. Thank you.
Awesome. Same here. Obviously, we're dealing in a very bad form um, of play by Liverpool for the year 2023. The only victory we've had has been in the FA Cup on a replay against Wolves. And coming off a loss, 3-0 loss against the Wolves over the weekend, has us staring right into the Merseyside Derby upcoming on Monday, needing all 3 points. We're going to address that upcoming matchup as well as some current transfer rumors, whether FSG is selling or not, as well as the Man City controversy regarding their FFP shenanigans. So let's get right to it. Damon, obviously a hot topic here, Liverpool's bad form. What do you think is needed as far as to get us out of this? I know Klopp has tried different players mixing in and out, but do you feel tactics wise we need a shift?
Definitely. I think is going about the tactics wrong with the players that he's got. Like we keep saying about the players not suiting the 4-3-3 anymore. We ain't got the legs for the 4-3-3. So this is where Klopp needs to start using his, I don't say tactical nous, but he doesn't really use it often, does he? He doesn't really change it up often. He changed up a little bit earlier on in the season, and it worked for a little bit. He went to 4-2-3-1 or 4-4-2 as it was to some people, and it worked. And for some reason, he's gone back in his own ways of going to 4-3-3, thinking that we've somehow got different players, but we haven't. We've got the same players. And I think 4-2-3-1 would suit everything down to the ground. I mean, we could go over the entire positions throughout this week. What do you reckon to that?
Yeah, I'm totally down with that. Obviously, health permitting for some of these players, but ideally, you want to play them in their most suitable position. And I'm in agreement there with you. We should look to switch to a 4-2-3-1 with the current available players that we have. I'll let you take a first stab at it. Go right ahead, then.
See, the 4-2-3-1, the first thing I think of is the centre defensive midfielders. And they're getting the best out of Trent and Robbo as well. If you look at Trent and Robbo now, they're sort of half-hearted going forward. They don't want to fully commit in case there's no one there to cover them no more in defensive midfielders. If they had a two defensive midfielder role there, they can cover each side of the fullbacks, rather than just one person doing it from RCM position. They're too far forward. They haven't got the legs for it. RVL don't cover back. Edison don't have the legs for it anymore. If you have two people sitting there, their job is to stay there and cover any sort of area in that position. Let the front four do their thing and let the fullbacks do their thing as well, because we are not seeing the best out of Trent or Robbo recent, and that's because of the midfield, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Trent only 1 goal and 1 assist so far this campaign in the Premier League. Definitely a shift in tactics-wise as far as where he's playing. He's not really doing his overlapping runs as much, being more concentrated, playing more in the middle of a park or staying back. So I definitely think shifting to a 4-2-3-1 would allow some of those overlapping runs that has put him on this earth as far as one of the best passers in the world. And I think we could get more out of him by doing so. Also allow Salah to creep further inside as opposed to staying out wide. We've certainly seen a dip in form from him as well this season. While he is putting up goals and assists on a per game average that's, isn't too far off his previous pace, you can just tell by the way he's playing that the confidence is there. Some of the shots that you would bank on him making and scoring, unfortunately, he's not getting the right touch, sending them over, or just not placing them correctly. So I think it's multifaceted in that the entire team is pressing now, unfortunately. And it's almost immediate that we go down 1-0 and the entire team is just struggling at that point, and feels like you can kind of take a look while they're out on the pitch. They feel like the sky is falling at that moment already. Like, here we go again. You know what I mean? And if they feel that way, us watching at home, certainly while screaming at the TV, feel the same way as well. For the two sitting defensive mids, who do you have in mind? Obviously, we've seen Stefan have a run of starts here, pairing with Thiago and Naby as well. Who would you see in those two slots?
Exactly those two, Stefan and Thiago. I'd love to say Fabinho and see if Fabinho, you could get the best out of him. Putting him there so he sits there, he didn't have to move as far, as far forward and as far mobile because he's not mobile anymore. So I'd like to see Fabinho there, but would I take the risk on it right now when we need the points? I don't know. I'd maybe swap him and Stefan around, and maybe you could give Thiago a rest. Maybe put Keita there. If Thiago needs a rest. But I wouldn't play Henderson. I wouldn't play Milner. Not now. We need the points. We can't afford to play players like that when they're just going to cost us. You're going to make mistakes or give us holes in the midfield that we don't need right now. But yeah, Stefan has done enough to earn his spot, hasn't he?
Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't pull him out of the starting lineup at all. From all the players on the pitch, he's one of the ones that you can see he's putting an effort every single time, chasing down balls. Following his defensive responsibility and doing his putting in the effort, and you can obviously see it on the pitch. Do you think we're and obviously we don't have that many options or to replace him? But are we overplaying Thiago at this point? I feel like his form has dipped a little bit from earlier this year, unfortunately, and I think we're kind of overplaying him at this point. But we don't really have too much of a choice at this point, do we?
I won't say we're overplaying him, but I think we're relying on him too much. Like I said earlier, because Trent and Robbo can't get forward, the creativity for them's gone as much. The creativity from Salah coming inside's gone. So relying on Thiago as the probably only creative spark we've got in the midfield is sort of is not only being a link up from the defence to the attack. He's also tracking back and tackling. He's doing like 100 jobs at once, and he's trying to be a creative source going forward. If he sticks to the position of CDM alongside Stefan or Fabinho, he doesn't have to do as much. He can sort of play Xabi Alonso role, couldn't he? Really, he's got the eye for it, and he's got the passing range for it. So I think it puts less pressure on him, and it allows a number 10 to come in and take that sort of creative burden, as it were. And it wouldn't be so much pressure on Thiago to do everything. And that's what he's doing at the moment. I feel like he's doing everything. He's had a little bit more help with Bajcetic because he's coming in there and he's just getting into tackles, and no one else did that apart from. And Naby's done okay, but not enough. So for me, I think that slight formation change to a 4-2-3-1 would not only get the best out of the fullbacks and the wingers, like you said, Salah coming inside and your likes of Diaz and Gakpo coming inside from the left. It'd also give Thiago a break, but still be on the pitch and do his thing.
Yeah, he wouldn't have as much ground to cover as in a three base in the midfield, right? He's definitely putting in so many yards, and unfortunately he can't do it all. He's leading our midfield in pretty much every counting stat, from tackles, passes, passing accuracy. So definitely he's someone we need to keep playing. But I'm in agreement with you there that we should lighten his load a little bit. And
do you feel like he has to cover back and do the cover forward as well?
He's running everywhere, unfortunately, and he's the one that has to either he puts in that foot, or now Stefan puts in that foot, or there was no one else in the midfield willing to make a timely tackle or even challenge for the ball in aggressively. With Henderson or mainly Henderson as far as a midfielder, barely putting a foot in as far as tackling wise. He's definitely picked up that burden, and I think once we're a little bit more stable there, I think he'll definitely shine more and be able to dictate play a lot more. I think we're just a little bit too jumbled now, going back and forth between offense and defense. While we might have possession, we don't really have a controlled possession. That's where he excels, where he's able to kind of dictate the match and pick out the weak points in the defense. But to lighten his load, I think inserting an attacking mid would actually allow us to play Elliott or Fabio Carvalho in the more natural position, or even sliding in a Cody Gakpo once Diaz or Jota come back.
Even worst case scenario, Salah. They put either Dirk or Elliott on the wing.
Yep, that as well. Elliott's, obviously played his best match, I think, this season playing on the right wing. And as you mentioned before, defensively, while he does put the effort in, he doesn't have the foot speed or the physicality to deal with midfielders, unfortunately, and that weakens us in that respect. But I think playing him out on the wing or in that center attacking mid role would, allow him to shine and excel as well. He's been the player that's played every single match for Liverpool this season. Didn't start the last match, but it's quite incredible the run he's been on, especially considering last year losing a lot of time due to injury. So who would you have as far as that attacking mid? Would you go with Elliott then?
It's nice to have those options in it. I think we've got a few options. I would give them all a go at some point, but if Curly Gakpo can find his feet, I think he'd suit that role. I still love Elliott and Cavell. I think they're absolutely wonderful players, but I still think Gakpo would suit that role. I think he brings more in terms of goals as well from that number 10 position. He's not being too good up front, has he? He just doesn't suit number 9. Doesn't suit his back to goal, I don't think. I know Holland played him, but it's still not because they haven't got no one else. He played the best at PSV on his left, and because he could run at players and he could have the half turn and create things rather than just being the number 9 scoring. He's a creator as well as scoring. So I think number 10 would suit him. With like Diaz and Salah on wings, I think that would be a frightening prospect, if I'm honest. And I won't argue any of them, to be honest. Elliott or Cavalier playing in there.
Yeah, I think long term they perhaps see Cody playing in the middle, whether it's I wouldn't say that center forward spot, because hopefully they envision Darwin obviously playing up front with Diaz to his left. But I certainly can see Cody transitioning to that attacking mid role. He certainly has the size for it. And the passing acuity as well. He can certainly bomb from long range. He hasn't been on target, unfortunately, since he's moved over to the Premier League. Do you think long term as well, do you think he's quick enough to play on the wing? He doesn't seem overly pacey to me.
It's hard, isn't it? Because we're comparing him to Luis Diaz. But then
or Sadio, right?
Yeah, exactly that. Look who we're placing him. I think if he plays similar to Jota, then I think he's all right, because Diaz and Mane are a bit more direct. Jota is a bit more of a sneaky player, and he always finds space at the back post somehow, and he then late runs into the box. I think if he watches Jota when he comes back and see how he plays, then I think it would suit him on the left wing anyway. So yeah, even if it is the Premier League, because Jota's not fast, is he?
He's not overly fast either. Just very very opportunistic and intelligent in his movement and runs. So Gakpo certainly has that aspect in his game. I feel like he's playing a little bit too much with the ball at his feet, and I think that's just due to being isolated. Unfortunately, just because we aren't really imposing ourselves in any matches this season, unlike seasons past.
It doesn't suit. It doesn't. I just don't think he suits that number 9. I know he played there as Holland. I just don't think he suits it. I don't. It reminds me a bit like, not say as good as Rashford, but where Rashford played up front, he could tell he just didn't suit that sort of strong number 9. He wants to be a number 9, but he didn't suit it because he didn't suit his back to goal. You got to do so many things as a striker. Rather than a winger, you direct at you want to run at players, you want to get it in the box, so you want to cut inside and shoot and things like that. I think he would suit more like a Rashford role rather than a
that or that attacking mid role where he's facing goal as opposed to
on the half turn and things like that. Yeah.
So yeah, and definitely from the matches that we've seen, he definitely can pass the ball. He's intelligent in his spacing, and actually defensively, he's been applying the most pressures from that front three. So I think that's one of the things that I believe Klopp highlighted in the press conferences leading up to the Wolves matchup this weekend, all that defensive work that Gakpo is doing. So I think they envision him in kind of that Firmino role, but I think we are transitioning slowly to a change in formation just based on the purchases we've done in these past couple of windows and the offensive players that we've brought in. Obviously, we need to sort that midfield to kind of get it working and gelling. But moving along, from our thoughts tactics-wise on what Liverpool should be doing, let's go ahead and just bring in some good news. We should be expecting Virgil as well as Diogo Jota back in training this week. We've definitely have missed Virgil in that back four from the performance this past week, and you saw how awful we were with that Matip Gomez pairing. Especially with Konate going down. I think we're definitely Gomez was definitely more solid with Konate pairing next to him. But the sooner we can get Virgil back, the better, right?
Oh yeah, I don't think I can watch another 90 minutes of Joe Gomez, and it kills me to watch Joe Matip play like this as well, because Joe Matip was one of our best players last season and the season before. Unbelievable player. Age just sort of catch up on him a little bit, and the uncertainty in terms of the midfield in front of him is not helping him at all. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Virgil is massive. As Konate is just as big, as in terms of miss as Virgil at the moment. I think just because we're playing both Gomez and Matip, and they're out of form, both of them. So I still want to see Joe Gomez playing another 90 minutes. If I'm honest, I really don't.
That's my cousin right there. Come on.
I can't do it anymore. I don't. It's. I can't believe he was like one of the best centre backs in the league. He was. And I think he was a nailed-on starter for England as well as Joe Gomez.
He was certainly on his way, and unfortunately that patella injury and breaking his leg obviously have taken some out of him. But Virgil was also on fire that season. I think having Virgil next to you at an all-world best will make you look better than you probably are. But he's definitely not a Batman in that backfield. He's more of a Robin to play alongside of Virgil to get.
I want you to say Robin,
to look the best.
Penguin. Why don't you say Robin? I've got Penguin right now. Honestly, Penguin has better movement.
Oh come on! I thought Matip was worse last weekend, but again, we're casting aspersions to two bad choices there, right?
Oh, and then we're playing both of them back together. We've got to be able to do it 2 weeks.
Yeah, that was really, really bad over the weekend there. All right, moving along from players coming back, we obviously have to touch on the topic of Fenway Sports Group and what the hell are they doing with Liverpool? Are they selling? Are they not? Is it a full sale, partial sale? Are they looking to rent out the parking lot for additional funds? What's the latest on that, Damon? I know you've been informing us through our website and articles as far as what's going on. So tell our listeners what's the latest.
I think they set up a GoFundMe page at the moment to help us pay for transfers. It's been such different reports every week. It's quite weird at the moment. 2 weeks ago, the reports was they were looking for minority sale, happy with minority investment, and then last week, all of a sudden, 2 reports came out. I think it was it Dave Powell? I think that reported that they are now leaning towards a full sale because, and I knew this was going to happen. Who's going to want to come in and pay for our transfers? Who's going to want to come in and have a small minority? I think this is what they're getting now at, is where investors are not interested in that. They're either wanting full sale or they don't want anything to do with us. They're not going to come in and pay for your transfers. What are they?
They're basically looking for a sugar daddy, right? Someone paying for their nails and mortgage.
Exactly that. Twerking outside Anfield. They've got a GoFundMe and they've all got an OnlyFans already, ready for an investor to come in. So these investors aren't going to do that. They're not going to do that. They'll either want a full buy of that. And at the moment, they're just not agreeing on. I think something is going on in the background. I think they're agreeing on the price of it. And FSG are trying to milk as much money as they can out of it. And it could be a long process. And we just got to be patient. I just think we need to know, don't we? We need absolute clarification.
There's certainly been a lack of transparency on that front and multiple fronts. We've had a shift in executives at the top hierarchy at Liverpool, and obviously a lot of outgoings in this past year or so. And we're going to have our sporting director leaving in June also, when we have our most critical transfer window under Jurgen Klopp upcoming. We certainly need clarity, not only as fans, but as a team, and for any prospective players looking to come in, what the long-term future of Liverpool is going to be. And without that, we're kind of stuck in limbo because all the reports, we were all, I wouldn't say patiently, but we were all waiting for an additional transfer to come in January after Cody Gakpo made his move January 1st for that midfielder that we've been dying since, August for, and nothing happened. And all we heard was summer war chest, 250 million. And after the spending that Chelsea did, every player is worth $100 million. So you're gonna get 2.5 players this summer based on that. Chelsea blowing up valuations across the board. So I definitely think it's in everyone's best interest to go through with a full sale. FSG has taken us, as I believe, as far as we can go, unless FFP actually has some teeth behind it and kind of limits how much spending is going on in football as an industry. But without that happening, I don't think FSG can keep Liverpool in the place where we can contend unless, we do a Brighton model. And even with that, it's not guaranteed that, those players will hit.
I'd compare it to, when you feel like a ball in the air and it's going to come down. FSG's got to the top, and we're not a balloon. A balloon is better. We need a balloon in charge of us now. Where it keeps flying up as high as it goes. At the moment, we've got a ball that is coming straight back down because of gravity, and that's what's happening at the moment. We've hit the peak of the top of where we can with FSG, and it's only one way now, and that's backwards, and that's gravity's taking us backwards in the table, and it won't change until we change that ball to a balloon.
Yeah, definitely. You want an owner that'll be willing to put some of their own money into the club, and that's not been the modus operandi for FSG. Everything that Liverpool spends is what they earn, and that goes even to the Anfield renovations. They might have loaned Liverpool the money, but they certainly made sure to get repaid on that in the quickest form, fashion possible.
Did that mate after that text the next day? Have you still got that tenner you owe me? I only bought it yesterday. I only bought it yesterday. If I didn't have a tenner yesterday, I wouldn't have had
it. Seriously, it's like, here you go. Oh, I'm gonna need that back. And it's like, come on, man. Like, give them a couple of seasons where you can actually spend as opposed to repaying the club. But going back on the topic of spending models, let's dive in a little bit into what's going on with our rival team for the past 5 seasons for that first place in the Premier League, Manchester City. Big news coming out this week that the FA is charging Manchester City with over 100 charges of cooking the books. And with that is the possibility of Manchester City, if found guilty, that they could possibly be facing massive fines, point deductions, and most extremely relegation or just outright banishment from any football league in England. So going with that, what were your thoughts on that news coming out? I think we all knew that they were doing funny business there, but after a 4-year investigation, all these charges coming out, I was very happy to see that. Well, what are your thoughts on the subject?
It's Mikel Arteta, isn't it, playing 4D chess? It is, isn't it? It is, isn't it? I mean, today it came out with a report that Man City think it's a former coach that has outed him. I mean, you can't think of a better coach than Mikel Arteta to do right now. The lad looks like a Lego head, but he's playing 4D chess at the same time. So, this could be the best move Mikel Arteta's ever done. If it is him, I absolutely applaud him for it. And it's about time, isn't it? It's about time. We've known for years there's something not right about the books don't match up. Having like the biggest money coming in revenue and things like that. It's like
I haven't seen. I live here in the States. I've yet to see anyone with a Manchester City kit.
I live in the UK. I've probably seen like 2 in my whole life. And I've been to Manchester plenty of times. Yeah.
My God.
I just think it's about time. And I think they need to throw the book at them. And I'm being serious. Because if they don't throw the book at them and they don't give them the harshest punishment they can, then they're just going to be a laughing stock. And it sort of makes the competition absolute fast, and it spits in the entire like how sport is brought up in this country and sport, in the world as well, like with fairness and fair play. That's the first thing you bring into sport when you're a kid. You've got a referee. Why have you got a referee? Because you need fairness on both sides. And when there's not fairness going on in the background, and done 100 charges over the 9 years, it's not like one thing. This is absolute madness. What's going on right now? So if they can do this absolute madness, they know exactly what they're doing. If it's like a mistake once or twice, it's a mistake. But they've been laughing at the Premier League for the last 9-10 years. It's time the Premier League got their own back, and let's see if they have some balls. Let's see if they have some balls, because if they have some balls, they will turn Man City back into the club they were, and that's nothing. And they can have a fan base. They could probably get, maybe if they get relegated to National League, they might come second in the record, breaking a crowd in that league. So that's an achievement for them. That's an achievement for them. So that that's something. Wrexham's probably still got more than them in that league. So yeah, I think it's been a long time coming, and it's fully deserved. And I can't wait to see it if it does happen. Please, not even relegate and banish them from Football League as well. Football League don't accept them. They go to non-league, and that's where they belong. So, because that's the end of Man City now. That's it. You've had your little fun at the top. You've turned the PlayStation off, and then that's it.
Yeah, definitely. Delete franchise. Just for the simple fact that obviously in a competition, everyone shows up, and even if the talent isn't equal across the pitch, the rules and regulations to form that team and talent should all be level, and everyone should be playing on an even playing field in that respect. And for FSG is probably looking at this. We've tried to do everything by the book, and look at where that got us. A couple of points off from having 3 titles, unfortunately, and with that, and then hopefully there are serious punishments coming up, just for the simple fact that what's going to prevent another team, let's say a Chelsea, from spending over nearly 700 million pounds.
Chelsea, would you say Chelsea spend
700 million pounds in 2 windows? There has to be a bounce back. It's like you mentioned before, that ball bouncing up and on its way back down. That definitely has to happen in football, and namely there with those state-run teams, just because they have unlimited cash, and with that, if you're not keeping it legit, they're going to be able to outspend anyone on the world for these best players. But the great thing with all that, even throughout their those 8 years plus, and even more going forward, is they haven't won a Champions League yet. So at least for that, you can't guarantee trophies, even if you are outspending the world for your players.
That's why Champions League's a different ball game. That's why Champions League is a different ball game. You can buy your £100 million squad. When you're Champions League, you need to be on it. You need to be on it in every game. So, Man City, good luck with this. Is your last chance to win Champions League, by the way, Man City. It's just going to go down. You're never going to win it. You're never going to win it. Don't look back in anger, Manchester City fans. Don't look back in anger.
It'd be great if they. I'm not sure if they can do it based on the scheduling tree there. But if Man City can face Bayern and get eliminated by Bayern with Cancelo just grinning ear to ear.
I hope he gets the winner.
What happened?
I hope he gets the winner. Cancelo. In a shootout. Even better.
Oh, actually, no. Can Cancelo play against Man City since he's a loan player? I don't think he can, right?
Oh, no, not if he's loan. No, he's loan.
No, right? Ah, damn it. We won't be able to see that.
New squad registration, isn't it, in January? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So he might not even be able to face them.
He's already lost his Premier League title to his medal to Mane. He's already had to pass that over.
Oh, man. We had Lucas Leiva asking on Twitter if he's a Champions League winner yesterday. And, well, what do you think? Do you think, that they should have point deductions for those previous years? And should they get stripped of their titles and the titles be handed to those second place teams? Or what are your thoughts there?
It's a tricky one, isn't it? I think they should be taken off them. But am I accepting them as a win? I don't know if I can celebrate them. I just want Gerrard to have one. I want Gerrard to have one. That puts every sort of Man United fan, Chelsea fan, whatever fan you are, that argues against Gerrard and Lampard. Well, where's the Premier League title? I want him to show them that medal and say, look, there's my Premier League title. I think that's the only thing I want, really, is Gerrard to have one. I'm not really bothered about. I won't celebrate them. It's done now, isn't it? You can't really go back and live that
Can't put
experience.
that
Look
toothpaste
back
back in the tube.
goal. The Aguero goal, that was like a moment in history, and it's tainted, but you can't go back and change that. You know, you're going to forever ever remember that Aguero goal and forever remember the moment. And exactly the same with Liverpool, and they're missing out by a point. I'm not going to go back and change how I felt that day. And it's not going to make that day any better. That day, we still lost the title by a point. We still lost the title by a couple of points. So, you know.
Yeah, regardless of what financial malfeasance occurred, the teams didn't end up in first based on points. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I wouldn't feel right, you know, getting a title that way. Yeah. But I totally feel superb if they said those titles don't count for you, Man City. Do not count.
Just voided titles, and I think that's probably the best outcome in terms of the fairest outcome.
Yeah, just vacate. There was no Premier League winner for that season. That's what I'd be totally down for. I'd love to have
the titles on our thing and say what is it? 3 titles would have, so be on 22 titles. I'd like to have that, and I think Man United get 3, and also we'll still be a title behind us. So it wouldn't really make a difference, I don't think. And you couldn't really celebrate it, could you? Apart from, I just want Gerrard to be his Premier League winner. That's all I want.
I don't think it counts that way, though. I mean, it's nice in thought, but at least to me, I don't think it counts that way. Just because, you know, it wasn't earned on the pitch, you know. So at least in that respect, but definitely I want them to vacate those titles for Man City. All right, looking ahead to some of the transfer rumors making the waves here. Liverpool could test the ground for Athletic Bilbao winger Nico Williams, who has a 50 million euro release clause. In his contract. Rumored Villa is interested in him as well. He's a right winger for a change, not a left winger. He is right-footed, not left-footed. But what do you think of the prospect of Nico Williams perhaps making his way to Anfield?
We've looked at him for a while, haven't we? So, you know, I think he's one of them players that if you follow him for a while, we're sort of there's a bit of truth to the rumours, isn't there? When you follow him for that long, you know, these ones like one-hit wonder sort of thing. Every chance they fall out of the rumours, don't they? But this one has been coming up quite a lot.
Couple times, yeah. Since last year or before that, yeah.
We need a right winger that way. We need a right. We can't. Salah, even like Salah at his best, he still needs some sort of backup and some sort of competition to kick him up the arse. But Salah right now, we need it. We need someone. I know Dirk's coming through and Elliott could play out right wing, but we can't. Again, looks like we are doing now. We can't rely on youngsters to come through and do that. You know, they should be coming into the first 11 when everything's settled and things like that. And at the moment, it's not settled, and Salah ain't got a competition, not proper competition. And I think Williams would be a good addition. I really do.
Well, he's a young player as well. He's definitely improved year on year with Atletico. I'm not sure how much desire he has to leave the team, just for the simple fact he is currently playing with his brother. They're at Athletic Bilbao, and I'm not sure if he would want to make that jump from Spain over to England, but he's certainly a player who has a lot of potential, is already capped with the Spanish national team, made an appearance in the World Cup as well, has great hair. As you know, I'm a fan of players with nice hair, so definitely I'd like to bring him on just for that fact. But he's definitely a pacey player on the right side who can kind of echo what Luis Diaz does for us on the left. And I think moving forward would provide, if not him, at least a player of his ilk, provide competition for Salah on the right wing, be able to relieve him or sub him out, give him a break here and there, and also allow Salah to transition more to either center forward or striker role, just because he is getting older and you kind of want him a little closer to goal as he progresses through his career. So I'd definitely be on board with that. On top of that, he's a Spaniard, so bring as many Spanish players to Liverpool as possible, I think would be terrific. Another transfer rumor. I don't know if you heard of this player. His name Jude Bellingham. He's
Who?
supposed. Jude. Jude is supposedly hesitating with his decision to extend his contract with Borussia Dortmund. Borussia want to make him the club's top earner at 15 million euro a year. The hottest rumor, and we've been hearing it for a couple of weeks now, is obviously to Liverpool that he's rebuffed overtures from Real Madrid as well as Man City, and that Liverpool seems to be his destination for this summer. That's obviously good news to our ears. We've been waiting for, it seems like, 10 years now for Jude. But any news of that nature, obviously good news, right, Damon?
Oh yeah, I feel like it's just the regurgitating.
Regurgitating.
Regurgitating. Sorry, that going over and over again with Jude, and we're either front runners or Real Madrid's front runners, and we're front runners. And it feels like you watched Wacky Racers when you were a kid. I don't know if you ever watched Wacky Racers in America, but there's a show over here called Wacky Racers, and when there was it was like a cartoon. And when there was in the race, it was just one car doing that. That's what it feels like with us in Real Madrid at the moment. I can't see any other place team going to.
Was it the races with the Hanna-Barbera cartoons like Rocky and Bullwinkle and those guys where they
I'd
were in
like
a race?
Dick Dastardly. I don't know if you know Dick Dastardly. Cavemen.
Okay.
You might. I don't know. I don't know what you got.
I'll have to look that up. But I probably have seen it.
When the cars keep going like that. So yeah, that is us in Real Madrid at the moment, and I think Liverpool have left him in the same situation now with waiting for this guy. They've got no excuses not to get him. Even if we miss Champions League, I think they've left themselves in a situation where they've got to get him now. Otherwise, it's just going to be an absolute laughing stock that have waited for this guy for 2-3 years, and we end up seeing him go to Real Madrid would just be an embarrassment to world football, and not just in our league. It will be a laughing stock, like I just said. But I could see him coming to Liverpool. I really can. And when Dortmund are offering him that sort of money, if he comes to Liverpool, it's not about the money. I don't think it's this kind of. A lot of players are about the money and will just bend over for the money. We saw Alexis Sanchez go to Man United over City, that as a guy that bent over for money. So I just don't think Jude's got a name. He's more bothered about his career than anything else, and I think he knows. I think there's more to the Liverpool situation than being let on. There's been so many reports that we've been contacting his dad. We're trying we're literally throwing a kitchen sink at this lad. So, like I said,
bring his dad in as a scout, transfer in Joby, obviously.
Unbelievable. We're doing more for this guy than we have any transfer window in anything. I think Klopp's in talks with, Klopp's in talk with Jude's representatives more than he is in with John Henry. So, well.
Well, hopefully,
John Henry's got.
Hopefully, that's a more longer term future than the one with John Henry, right?
Well, yeah, I'm hoping so. Yeah, I'm hoping Jude Bellingham's here for the next 10, 15 years, and John Henry's gone in the next 2 days. So, but John Henry's already blocked him anyway, so he can't really do much about that anyway. So, yeah. So yeah. Jude, I could see Jude happening. If I'm honest, that's not coming from a journalistic point of view because I don't have any inside knowledge on that or anything like that. I just see the reports that you do. That's coming from a fan, and I do think we will see him in a red shirt next year. I do.
I think that's the logical move for him in many respects because not only coming back to England while he's still young and obviously coming to a club of Liverpool's history, and we obviously need him in the midfield. He'd be sliding right in and just be able to be the main man there in the midfield. But
if honest, I think once you probably sliding into our midfield at the moment.
What's that?
I said Jay Spearing will probably slide into our midfield at the moment. It's not really that much as a compliment, is it?
I think they didn't make any moves just to show how drastic it was, and this is all yours. Come in. But along with that, I think if you make the jump to Real Madrid, I think that's the nadir of where you can go. That's the highest peak in world football as far as a squad that you can go to. So I think if he were to make that move, it'd be further down in his career, maybe once he's done with Liverpool, or perhaps if he does come to Liverpool, he just stays the entire for the duration there, which obviously would be fantastic and be able to write his name in the history books.
Do you think we'd build around him?
What was that?
Do you think we'd build around him? Do you think he'd be the one that we build around?
Yeah, definitely. I think. I think for the time being, he can definitely accommodate whatever other players are currently on the squad. But with the talent base that he has and just the growth that he's showing year on year, you definitely want to build a team around him. He can do it all in the midfield. And he's, a Gerrard regen for us, in my opinion. I think he can do all the stuff Steven used to be able to do on the pitch at Anfield. So I definitely would build a squad around him. He can become the face of English football in these next couple of seasons, in my opinion.
And with Man City out of the race now as well, he's already rejected Chelsea and PSG. Like I said, it's us and Real Madrid. I think it's just a straight fight between us and Real Madrid. If we get Champions League football, then I think it's nailed on certain that it's us.
Yeah, I think, as you mentioned earlier, with or without CL football, I think even with a 1-year dip, him coming on and then any additional moves Liverpool might make, I think we'll be right back there the following season with Klopp at the helm.
Would you say FSG staying puts a dent in that transfer? See, I think if we get new ownership, one that's a bit ambitious and shows a bit more like, we're going to go win the league. We need to win the league as many times as we can, under this ownership. I think he's going to look at that and think, wow, we could build something here. If he's looking at FSG now, do you reckon he's thinking, this is a stale, this? I don't want to really go into this.
Mm-hmm. I don't. With that, and again, we talked about in the beginning of the podcast there. We definitely need clarity on the ownership situation. I think any move, whether it's a prospective player, prospective coach, even team physician, wants to know, hey, who's going to be signing my checks in next month or 2 months from now, etc.
And where's the club going as well? They want to know where the club's going, don't they?
And what the ambitions of the club are, obviously. So I think that kind of needs to get settled pretty quick and hopefully definitely before summer. But regardless of that, I think, this has been brewing now for a couple of seasons. It's been in the works as far as all the rumors, of Liverpool wanting him, his family wanting him to come to Liverpool, him wanting to play under Klopp, etc. So I definitely think it's something that's going to happen. And I think regardless whether or not FSG is still the owners or not, I think he's on his way. Just because it's been brewing for the past 3 seasons now. And I think he's, based on, all the interviews he's given and kind of the feedback that you get from him, is that he's more interested in the legacy of his career as opposed to what's the best team he can jump to or where he can earn the most money. So, you can tell from his move going to Germany to start playing at a younger age in the starting lineup with with grown men in pro ball. I think him coming to England would be the next logical step for him.
I think it'd be the best thing he can do in his career, don't you think? Especially the league as well. This is the league where you really do become a star. I know you got your Messi and Ronaldo in La Liga, and they do get a lot of coverage in La Liga, but Premier League, the league, and you'll know from across the seas what gets the most coverage in terms of. Obviously, I can't. It's going to be biased over. It's going to be all Premier League at most. But across in America, it's going to be the same, isn't it?
It's definitely the Premier League gets the most juice here in the States. Gets the most coverage. ESPN does have deals to broadcast both La Liga as well as the Bundesliga. So they've definitely been making more noise lately, and with the availability of their matches on one platform. In the States here, Serie A is on Paramount Plus, so that's not as popular. And as you can see, it's kind of really really hitting them hard in Serie A. There's so many players just leaving that league, just for the simple fact that clubs can't pay them the wages that the other leagues can. So the Premier League is the step to go, in my opinion, for Jude. He could always go to Real Madrid later on in his career if he so chooses. But I think moving back to England and writing his name in the history books at Anfield is what's next on his plate. All right, moving along to kind of pair with Jude in the summer. It's rumored as well that we're also still interested in pursuing a deal for Moises Caicedo in the summer. I was very happy to not see him make a move to Arsenal this past transfer window, just for very, very selfish reasons. We already saw Enzo move to Chelsea. I did not want to see Moises move over to Arsenal. I kind of wanted him available just in case Liverpool did get an ownership change. Would you be happy with Liverpool pursuing Caicedo in the summer?
Yeah, of course. He's an absolute talent in it. I didn't like what his agent did, though, with the whole Instagram post and him saying bye to the Brighton fans when he hadn't agreed a deal.
He was thanking them. He was thanking them on his way out and didn't get his way out.
Yeah, it was literally a goodbye message, wasn't it, to the Brighton fans and then the owners and stuff. It's like, yeah, he's gone, mate. They ain't offered the proper offer yet. So
he wrote a divorce letter without the divorce getting approved.
It was like sending a text to the wrong person. It's like he didn't mean to press send, did he, on that Instagram post? It was supposed to be for later on. In fact,
drafts. It was supposed to be drafts.
I sat on my phone. I didn't mean it. It's my mate.
Writing my feelings out, how I think the message would go, and it got sent.
It's a bit like when you got your mate's phone and you're pranking, you send someone a message, and that's what set up his Instagram post saying bye to Brighton fans. I don't know what excuse he gave when he had to join training ground that next day of that, but it's a new agent and all, so it's like you can't really drop him as quick as he's just got him. Once to go and post, he's gone. So yeah, of course, absolute brilliant player. I mean, but I can't see it happening unless we got new ownership, like you said. I think that new ownership gives me so much promise for that, for not just for the transfer, but just for the future of this club. Mm-hmm. Seriously, the ambitions we spoke about earlier. The ambitions that John Henry and FSG have got is just we haven't got any ambitions. They were happy to win the title and it makes some money, and that's it. Now we don't want to go on to win more titles. We don't want to create a dynasty for this, this manager. And players like I said, obviously Jude, I think it's going to happen regardless of whatever ownership we've got. But getting Caicedo as well, that just seems more of a new ownership buy as well as Jude, if that makes sense. I think if Jude happens, we're going for cheaper players. We're going for like your £5 million loan deals. You know what I'm saying, under FSG. So Caicedo, I'd love him at Liverpool, and if it is a new ownership, I don't think money would be an issue, would it?
Yeah, Caicedo would just be tremendous get for Liverpool. He's a player that is like Genie 2.0 in my opinion. Someone that's a glue guy that does all the little things that allows those quote unquote skill players to shine, and just provides so much stability to his team, defending as well as progressing with the ball. He's one of the leading progressive passers in the Premier League, which you wouldn't think based on his on his style of play, but definitely an up and coming player who's this season proven himself in the Premier League as certainly a world-class talent. And I think if we were to pair him up with Jude, that would be, tremendous get. And moving from prospective players coming in, we have a couple of players perhaps on their way out. We keep hearing these rumors of Firmino re-signing. I'm of the opinion that we can't keep making the same mistakes re-signing players who are on the downward trend of their careers, i.e. Jordan Henderson. So I'm a firm no in re-signing Firmino just for that fact. What's your opinion on re-signing Bobby?
I'm on the fence on this one. I'm not usually on the fence. I'm now normally straight down the middle, cut for. I've got an opinion on everything. So, but this one, it's a tricky one because I think if we get a right winger, I'm not too bothered having Firmino in the numbers because we've got enough players on the left. We've got Diaz, Cavalier, Gakpo, Nunes could play on the left if needs be. Up front, we'll have Jota, Salah can go up front, Gakpo can go up front, Nunes. We've got enough players. And if we get a right winger as well, I don't think Firmino will be used. So I think I won't mind him as like 6th, 7th choice striker. If that makes sense.
But
And only use
why
him
would we
if
want
like
to pay him
absolute
like
desperation.
a hundred grand a week to sit on the bench though?
I don't think he's sit on bench, man. Not I won't pay 100 grand a week. You'd have to take a wage cut easy. But it's either that or bring a youngster through, and I'd be happy with either, if I'm honest, because unless we ain't got the youngsters, that's the thing. You need to have the youngsters. You can't just bring a youngster through just for the sake of it. You know what I'm saying? And we're not going to go out there and play another God knows what money unless we're bringing like a young upcoming striker. There were no point going out and getting another striker, is there? Because we just got Nunes, just got Gakpo. So for me, knowing the numbers, an absolute desperation when everyone is injured, he'd only play, I think. So I wouldn't mind, and I'd be happy to see him go as well if we brought someone else in as well. Like a upcoming striker. That's about it. That's about it, really. It's hard for me now because it's different with midfield because we've literally got no midfielders, but because we've got strikers, I can accept it if that makes sense. It's not like he's going to be playing like the others.
And to kind of wrap up re-signings, there more reports to the fact that Naby is more likely to leave than re-sign for Liverpool. Would you like to re-sign him, or would you be all right with him, flying away?
I'll take him myself. I'll take him myself. I'll get him on the plane. I'll put his seatbelt on. I'll serve him whatever plain meal he wants. I know it tastes like shit, but deal with it. You've been shit for us anyway. So you know what? When Naby Keita come, I was the first person. I said it to my mate. I said he could be potentially like player of the year player. He was that good. And he was for the first few games. I always remember the Palace game. I always remember the first game against West Ham. He absolutely bossed that match. The Palace game where he turned like inside our half. He did that turn, didn't he? And a 45-yard pass or something like that. Like, wow, what have we got here? And then that was it. It just hit, and then we just didn't see the same again. Inconsistency. I think in not the COVID season, the season where we hit injuries though. When he came back of that, I think he played a big part in us getting top 4, and that run where we had no players, he played a huge part. Him, Trent, and Salah were unbelievable. I think
Last season he was good as well. He wasn't as injured and definitely played pretty well. He should have started the Champions League final in my opinion over Jordan.
Yeah. I think the best midfield I've seen in the last 2 years was him, Thiago, and Fabinho. And that was last season. I think they played it like once last season. I think once last season.
I think once or twice, and then that's it.
Game I've seen him play in terms of midfield, and we absolutely dominated it. So it's sort of more like a thanks, no thanks in it with him now. I think you just got to let him go. Like I said, I'll fasten his seatbelt for him. I'll look after him on play.
Yeah, it's. I think it's in my opinion, it's very sad that it didn't turn out the way we all envisioned it. I don't think it's due to his fault. He can't help getting hurt. I don't think it's not lack of training or dedication. It's just sometimes these things happen, and I think it'll be best for both parties just to move on from each other. Hopefully, he can, pick a good team to go to and get a lot of playing time and kind of pick up his career there. But I think we just want new blood at this point at Liverpool. I think we kind of need to get those players out and bring new players in who haven't heard that Klopp message yet, who for a number of seasons, who would be eager to run and run those hard yards for the team. And I think as much turnover as we can get, I'm a fan for. I just think we just need new players up and down the squad at this point.
I agree with you completely.
All right. So looking ahead, we have the the Merseyside Derby upcoming on Monday. Sean Dyche leading Everton, coming off a 1-0 win over league leaders Arsenal. I certainly can see a very, very tough matchup. We haven't really kicked the crap out of Everton these past couple of years. And this year where we're really, really shaky, kind of a dangerous match coming up, right?
You know what? 3 seasons ago, I was going into these matches looking forward to absolutely trouncing these. And right now, especially Sean Dyche taking over as well, it's just we've seen it before. Sean Dyche's Burnley come to Anfield and do us over because they're so hard to break down. I hope we win this. I hope we win this as much as any game because it's going to be. Imagine this loss, though, Rigo. Imagine a lot losing this, man. It's going to be absolutely toxic. Absolutely
Oh
toxic.
man!
If you don't laugh, you'll cry, won't you?
Yeah. I'm kind of like preparing myself as a form of a defense mechanism, with the prospect of us recording again, coming off a 2-0
It's going to be a
loss to
fight.
Everton.
I've only just calmed down from the fucking Wolves game. I don't know if you heard my spaces the other night, but I heard the spaces. I was absolutely livid.
Oh my god!
So yeah, wait till the Everton game. I'm glad it's school holidays anyway because I can take my anger out the next day. But yeah, I still go into these games. I'm thinking we're going to win. I thought we were going to beat Wolves, but I'm a bit stupid at this point now.
No, I don't think we can say we can beat. We can't say we can beat anybody at this point, unfortunately.
I know, that's the worst thing. That's the worst thing. It's going to be a fighting game and all that. There's going to be cards and there's going to be bookings and it's going to be I think it's going to be a derby to remember. I really do. I just think Everton's going to taste blood, but Liverpool have still got that talent, haven't they? Still got these Salahs. We've still got a miles better team than Everton. The John Dyche thing for me, if it were Lampard, I think I'd be more confident. I'm confident anyway because Everton are shit. We're not. We're shit, but we're not shit.
That Dyche factor and Andre Onana looking like Yaya Toure in the midfield there for them. Definitely a player to keep an eye on. When he made the move from France over to Everton, I thought that was a great move for them. That was a player that was rumored that Liverpool were interested in him as well. Went for a relatively cheap, like between either 30 and 40 million euros there. And he was one player that didn't want to leave Everton, unlike the academy player Anthony Gordon, who as soon as he could made the bolt to Newcastle.
He's
right?
A rat in here. He's a rat. He's even
Can't
become a
stand
rat.
That guy.
Fans. What a little rat. What a snake.
Can't stand that guy. Ugly as sin and plays like a whiny bastard. So yeah, no, I'll never be. He got
that sugar daddy that FSG are looking for, didn't he? He got that sugar daddy FSG we're looking for. Like he was licking his lips for Newcastle's.
Yeah.
I thought you're not even that good, mate. You're not even that good. I don't know why Newcastle even signed him. He's not good enough for Newcastle.
I think for the homegrown quotient, same reason Manchester City bought Grealish. Just they wanted an English player that they can kind of hang their hat on. I thought.
Aaron Maguire does that at Man United. Hang the hat on it. He looks like he looks like a freaking coat stand.
They have him playing as a coat rack now, so that's the goal. But definitely looking forward to the matchup, but with a little trepidation as well. I could definitely see it going 0-0 just because we have so much trouble scoring. Wout Faes is our leading scorer since the new year. With 2 goals, which is supremely embarrassing. So we're having trouble putting the ball in the net, and we're conceding goals at an all-time rate under Klopp. So it's definitely not a recipe that I'm looking forward to. But hopefully we come out there with a win. We definitely need all 3 points moving forward. But predictions for you on the match, final score?
Oh, predictions. I hate writing my match predictions. When I do my articles, sometimes I do the match predictions. I choose to do it though. I do choose to do it, but every time I predict it, it's like the person that I'm wary of on the other team sort of has an absolute stormer. I've done it before with when I talked about Ivan Toney being a trouble, and he ripped Van Dijk to shreds. So I don't like doing match predictions anymore. But I will give you one. I'm not saying no offense on this one. It's going to be one of them games, It's going to be close, but I still think Liverpool will do enough to win convincingly. I know it sounds mad, but I think it's be a close game because of how feisty it's going to be in the card, and it's going to be controversial, I think. But I think Everton can't defend him. We're talking about we can't score at the moment. Eventually that's going to stop. we are going to get a game where we're going to score. I know we've got Bournemouth coming up soon and annual fashion there, but I think Everton could be on the end of an absolute, I won't say mauling, but I think Liverpool are due one of these games where they're going to go all out. And if Nunes starts as well, and I'm hoping Nunes starts up front with Gakpo on the left, I do not want to see it the other way around. I just think it's only a matter of time, and I'm hoping he plays 4-2-3-1. If he plays 4-2-3-1, Rigo, I'm getting my boxes ready for bit changing halfway through. Excitement. And I have rotation of boxes, a bit like when the celebrities go to award ceremonies and they change dresses all the time. That's me in boxes. But on Monday, if we do play at 4-2-3-1, I'll be so excited. Honestly, we need this happening, and what a better game to do it in this game than to go all out and say, "Look, here you go, we're back."
What's the score prediction, Damon?
3-0. 3-0. 3-0. I'm going out there. 3-0. Nunes double.
For Liverpool, right?
Oh, yeah. Fucking hell. Okay. You think Calvert-Lewin scoring 3 goals?
Well, he might have the 3 different outfit changes.
I'm going to say that's the only thing he scores these days is fucking club deals. So you don't do all else on pitch.
All right, so 3-0 for Liverpool, resounding Merseyside Derby win.
What's yours? Go on, tell me yours now. Go on.
I can't share that same level of optimism, unfortunately. I think we're going with 1-1 draw.
Oh no, mate! Do not say that. 1-1 draw. Come on.
With Jordan Pickford holding on to the ball for 77 minutes.
It punished him last time. It punished him last time when Pickford did it last time. We won, didn't we? Remember when he going down on the floor? And Alisson Becker did it as well. It did it to him as well before when they wasted time before. The Rigo goal, they wasted time for that.
He wastes time every match, and Jordan Pickford is my most hated goalie in the entire world. I don't like how he plays. He's always upset whenever he has to save a shot, even though that's his job, and wastes time all the time. And obviously, he crushed our season a couple of years back when he drop kicked Virgil van Dijk in the knee there.
It's just such an unlikable team. I know they're Everton, they're our rivals anyway, but it's such an unlikable team. The players.
I'm a fan of Dyche, man. I'm a big fan of Sean Dyche. If you have a chance, even though it's not LFC transfer room,
is Liverpool fan? What's he going into this?
Take
into this game.
Take a listen to his coach's voice video, as well as his appearance on the High Performance podcast. I think you'll be a fan of Sean Dyche as well. Could totally see him being the bartender or the heavy in a Guy Ritchie movie. He has that gravitas and personality, and I think I like him obviously because he is a Liverpool fan. But
he's a prick now, though, isn't he?
Nah, he's
a prick now. Once he's gone blue, that's it. Mike Owen was one of my childhood heroes, right? He's a dickhead.
It might be.
That's it. It's done.
We might have an inside job coming. You never know. So hopefully it does turn out that way, and we come out with a victory on Monday. But we'll leave you on that note, listeners. Thank you for tuning in and checking us out here on the Liverpool LFCTR podcast. Thank you, Damon, for joining me today. This has been Rigo. Like and subscribe, and have a great day. Up the Reds.